Hi guys, Stephen Edwards from ClientMax here. I'm also the founder of Grow Profit First Accountants, formerly CTA. So if you don't know who I am, I've been running my own practice for almost 15 years now, and I kind of started from scratch, and we've took it to just under sort of three quarters of a million revenue. And I share that with you, to just let you know I've been on the journey. If you're an accounting practice owner, that I've been there. I kind of walk the walk. I'm not just making these things up. And what's inspired me to start ClientMax is to share my experience of how to grow a profitable accounting practice. It's not just about revenue, although the big thing about ClientMax is getting more customers in, but how to build a profitable business and practice, but also organically. I haven't actually purchased any practices. I haven't acquired any practices, and I'm not saying that's the only way to grow. A lot of people are growing through acquisition, and it works for them. However, my journey is I've not needed to buy any practices yet, but that's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. So we are, if you're watching this in July, we're about to go live to the general public. We've been successfully implementing the beta cohort of ClientMax. We're just fine tuning some things. We're just getting the branding sorted. We're getting the onboarding experience sorted so that it can be ready to serve and help more people. And one of the things I'm actually about to share tomorrow, so you it's probably already live if you're watching this video, is we've recently won our biggest client ever, nearly £50,000 worth of recurring fees per annum, so about £4,000 per month. And that's not a typical client. That's a lot bigger than what we normally sign up. Our typical client might be paying a few £100s a month, which is still a nice client. We like those size clients, and for different reasons. That's kind of beyond the scope of this video. I'm going to share the step-by-step process, what needed to happen to be able to sign up a client like that on the YouTube channel tomorrow. Although it's going to be shared with the members first. And when you're part of, if you're wondering what is ClientMax, because I'm speaking hypothetically at the moment, it's a CRM and marketing automation software system and community and educational resource for practice owners. So the actual fundamental software itself will do what you expect from HubSpot, from Keep, all of those kind of systems in terms of email marketing, automation. You can do some other fancy things in terms of creating your own forms, and you can do text messaging. You can hook it up to WhatsApp. You can do social media planner. However, my big focus is mainly on the automation, the emails, and getting more clients. That's what the system's about. But a large bit of what we talk about would be the educational piece in terms of what's working in my practice, what's working in other people's practices, and how can we all collectively learn and grow together with that kind of abundant mindset. But actually, if you've watched the headline of this video and you're like, Steve, are you going to get to the point? I've signed up. I watched this video because of the headline. The headline is, I absolutely believe a 40% profit is achievable. And I know it's achievable for an accounting business. So there's lots of people out there. And if you Google 40% accounting profit, you'll find some blogs from other people around there. And first and foremost, there's more than one way of being successful. You need to find a way that works for you. So when people are black and white, don't do timesheets, do timesheets. You need to be charging this, you need to be doing that. Just be careful of taking in those kind of influences, because you want to be a student, not a follower, including everything I'm saying. You need to adapt it to you. Yes, if people's got a proven success model and it's plug and play, by all means, use it. But often that is not always the case. And we need to figure out, because small nuances can make a huge difference. Small hinges can open big doors and close big doors. So we need to adapt it to us. So, there's people out there thinking when you scale a business, you cannot do 40% profit. But I am telling you right now, we are very close to the 40% profit mark with a business that pretty much runs without me to a large extent. Again, I do not share that with you to show off in any way. I don't think it's anything to show off about. It's how I've built my business. It's the intention, it's the strategy, it's the model I've built. I've built a business that doesn't rely on me being the accountant, being the client manager. I don't do virtually nothing to do with accounting. or tax. There are some exceptions, less than 10% of my time would be doing that sort of stuff. I don't tend to do client meetings. I don't review files. I don't do accounts prep. I don't do sort of any of that. And I'm still achieving, we're still achieving close towards those sort of numbers, where 40% profitability is absolutely possible. Of course, if you're a one-man band, you're probably watching this thinking, Steve, I'm doing 60% profit. If that's the case, that's probably fine because you're probably a small team. It might just be you. If it's just you, you could be doing 80% profit because you're doing everything yourself. But if you're trying to build a business, scale a business, build a team, then the typical benchmark people talk about is 25%. So I just want to give you a little bit of learning from my experience in the last year, particularly. We've always been a profitable business, and I've managed to kind of take myself off the tools, so to speak, for the last few years. But what's helped us do this? Yes, we bring in a ready, nice flow of new customers, and that's where ClientMax and all the stuff we've been doing around that will help you get your lead flow, get it working, and it's a snowball effect. It's kind of a plane taking off a runway. You don't just jump in and take off. It's not a space rocket. I wish it was. It's a runway. You need to build up momentum. You need to build up speed, and more importantly, you need to actually build the plane in the first place, which is where the automation and the positioning, the strategy comes in. So, bringing in clients is important. Just as important is how you position your services, the types of conversations you have. You could say your marketing strategy that you're having with your prospects. Also, your pricing. We could do all the stuff in the world to bring you in lots of new clients. We could bring you in, I've had as much as 50, 60 leads in a month. We could help you bring in that into your own business. But if your pricing is not very good, you might need 4 times the clients to get the same profit of the practice up the road because your pricing's wrong. But it's all connected because your pricing might not be right because your positioning and your marketing strategy and your USP is not different enough to justify the premium pricing. Or that might be all good, but you're not articulating it properly. And that's where we've got like a sales deck we walk through with our customers. We've got kind of brochures and resources around that. So, and then the other thing you need, so that's important to get a 40% profit, net profit. And the other thing that's important is your team structure. Most people build their team and their business. It's a bit like buying an old house that's had an extension on an extension already. And be honest, my house is a little bit like that. It's 1930s. It probably had its first extension in the 60s and another one in the 90s and another one after 2000. If you built it from scratch, it would look different. That's where an architect comes in and you do it. You have a blueprint to build your business. To build a profitable, really profitable business that could possibly run without you. And I released a book last year, How to Build a Business That Runs Without You, on is it on there you go on Amazon. You can find it there. I released that last year, and it's my kind of journey. You need to have it needs to be profitable enough, and you need the right team structure. You need to be intentional with what type of team are you building, and you need to wear people in the right seats. They need to wear the right hats. Often people, and I've been there, you hire someone who can do everything, but they become expensive. You start relying on generalists who could do everything, and they cost a fortune because they can do everything. They're like superheroes. They can do your payroll, your bookkeeping, your accounts. They can pick up the phone. They can help you do new client setup. It's far more what's the word, sort of effective and um, lean and innovative and resourceful to have the right people doing the right thing. It doesn't mean we're robots. We stay in our box completely, but we hire generally bookkeepers to be great at bookkeeping, and we pay for that talent. Accountants to be good at doing accounts, client managers to be good at speaking to clients and adding value, team members who are good at admin, back office, people that are good at the marketing. So we put people in the right seat. That's a big part. Last year, I trained as an EOS implementer, paid a fortune, becoming a franchisee. Bit of a long story for another day. So I'm big on building your accountability chart, having the right people in the right seats. Do they meet your core values? Is also a big part of this. So if you start putting all of this in place, you can absolutely build a 40% profit, net profit practice, but it takes time. It takes patience. It's not click your fingers, let's do this. You need to do one thing at a time. and you need to be patient and play the long game. So hopefully that's useful, guys. A little bit of inspiration. I know it's quite general, but for anyone who joins us at ClientMax, you will listen to more kind of insider talk about these sort of topics. And also there's a community and there'll be more collaboration between everyone. But I just wanted to let you know what's possible. It's not one size fits all. It has to be what's right for you, but it's certainly possible to build a 40% net profit practice also without you actually doing any of the accounting. But I'll speak to you soon. Thanks, everyone.